G'day battlers, and today we are diving back into the Spring Cup to take a little bit of a look at a team that got me a 90% win rate in my opening day one sets of the Spring Cup. And so essentially, this team was created by Jason2890, and it isn't your classic alignment based team that you are going to see a lot in the Spring Cup. This one has a strategy to it. You can lose lead and constantly win game with this team. It is really, really so good. How does it work? Essentially, Cradily in the lead is prepared to set up your entire squad. So Cradily is setting up for big sweeps in the back from either Galarian Weezing or the Jellicent. And so if you win lead with Cradily, happy days. Like, you're in a great spot. The opponent is probably going to swap into something that you can hard counter because the meta, if you haven't looked at my meta simplified video for the Spring Cup, it is a little bit RPS sometimes depending on the team compositions. So usually if you win lead, you're going to be in a pretty good position. But what happens when you lose lead? What if you see something like a Ferrothorn that you are not in a good spot in as the Cradily? Luckily, there is a strategy for that. And so essentially, you are just going to keep throwing Rock Tomb, debuffing your opponent. And once you leave Cradily in, you never swap it out. Once Cradily goes down, after you've thrown a ton of Rock Tomb, debuffs, you swap into either your Galarian Weezing or your Jellicent. You get a bit of an energy advantage, and usually you're in a really, really strong position for the rest of the game, especially because both Jellicent and Galarian Weezing have the ability to do quite a lot of neutral damage across the board, and so no matter what comes in, it can be pretty good for you. So let's get into the battles here. Game number 2, we've got the Cradily into the Tentacruel. Again, this is a bit of a back and forth situation where neither of you are doing a ton of damage to each other, but we are going to follow the strategy. We're going to keep on clicking Rock Tomb. We are going to lose this matchup. Tentacruel will take us out, and then we're going to set ourselves up for a bit of an energy advantage in the back. So we take a Sludge Wave on the chin. Obviously, general scenarios, not the greatest spot to be in, but we're fine. They actually use a Protect Shield, and I sort of found this in a lot of my games, is that because I just, was putting on so much charge attack pressure, we were able to get a lot of shields off. And because they go for the Acid Spray there, I don't know if they thought we were going to shield, probably, we were actually able to get one more, bring them down to the tiniest sliver of health, and get the shield advantage. So we bring in the Galarian Weezing to sort of snipe the KO. One Fairy Wind is all we need. And now Golisopod comes in, and because we have that little bit of an energy advantage, it actually puts us in quite a strong position because Aqua Jet, it's a very, very fast attack coming off of those Golisopod, but Sludge is really, really quick from our Weezing as well. So we get one, we already get a second one before they're able to get to another charge attack. They're at their second one now, and the writing's on the wall. We catch the Aqua Jet into the Jellicent, and at this point, it's going to be really hard to come back from. And so, I think we are going to Hex down, but then they just top left. We were in a really strong position. Shield advantage, energy advantage, and all. Well, next game, we've got a Feraligatr in the lead. Chat was sort of telling me that Feraligatr is real. I wasn't so sure, but here it is. We saw a few of them, and essentially, Hydro Cannon straight away, and they actually swap into Meganium, and so this is a bit of a different gameplay, I suppose, because they're actually swapping, and so we go for the Rock Tomb, debuff them, and then swap into the Galarian Weezing. Again, I guess this is just sort of showing you that you don't always follow the strategy. Usually, I think in 90% of these games, we do follow the strategy, but because Meganium does have access to Earthquake, we decide to use the shield on that Galarian Weezing, and we've got a lot of energy here. It's sort of similar principles in throw the debuffs, get an energy advantage, and be in a really strong position. So now the Ferrothorn comes in, and at this point, we're just going to go straight for the overheat. They kind of need to call it, and they call it, the overheat goes through, and at this point, it's going to be pretty hard to lose this game. We decide to just go straight for the Rock Tomb, but they get to the move, so I think we actually accidentally overtapped. But anyway, the Galarian Weezing comes in. We've got so much energy that we're in a pretty good position. We get that last Protect Shield. We still have a shield in tow. We could just shield up here and click on Sludge, and then we pretty much win the game. We've got a full health Jellicent in the back as well, so not really a game that we're going to be planning to lose. So Galarian Weezing getting a massive sweep. We didn't even show Jellicent. That was just Galarian Weezing and Cradily. Cradily now up against a Trevenant, which is a bit of an interesting one. One of the biggest Pokemon from past Spring Cups. I think it's still pretty decent in this one, even though I don't think I talked about it a lot in that Meta Simplified video, but same strategy. We're just going to keep on clicking on Rock Tomb. That does bring it down to below half health, which is kind of crazy. But now we're sort of at the point where, again, we're not going to use any shields. We're just going to keep on clicking Rock Tomb. Because of the first Rock Tomb going through, we actually survive clutch, get another Rock Tomb off. They get the shield, which means, again, we're going to get an energy advantage and we have shield advantage as well. Now, I go for a bit of a play here going for the Jellicent, deciding that I can afford to... I go, they're Rock Tomb debuffed. I'm going going to survive a move here. So I no-shield it, take them down, have a lot of energy. It's Pelipper in the back. I now have a Shadow Ball loaded. I've got 2 Pokemon with 2 shields. So I throw the Shadow Ball, swap into Galarian Weezing, and there's pretty much no Pokemon in the back that is going to be able to stand up to this absolute menace of a team with 2 shields remaining. Throw the Sludge before they get to a charge attack. This would be enough to KO. They use their last shield, and so at this point, I can comfortably shield up, Fairy Wind down, whatever's in the back. It actually is Walrein, and so 2 Sludges is going to be enough here. People are going for a lot of different strategies, and I think this is a team that is going to work really well in the first sort of few days of Spring Cup. But I think that as the meta develops, I think this team is going to get a little bit more hard counted. I think that Empoleon is going to be sort of rising up through the ranks, and this is an example of a bad lead for the team because Steel can be pretty tough for us, especially Mawile. And so Mawile going to go for the power up punches, which are going to hurt, but again, we stick to the strategy. No shielding, just Rock Tomb. They actually do use the shield as well, which, a bit of an odd play, I suppose, because I don't think Mawile necessarily needs to shield there, but hey, we'll take the shield advantage. Unfortunately, they do get charge attack priority there, but it looks like they're just throwing power up punches, which means we do actually get our Rock Slide off anyway, a Rock Tomb, sorry. Get another shield, so we're now at a 2 shield advantage. All of a sudden, this matchup that traditionally isn't supposed to be so good for us, not so bad. We have our Jellicent. Jellicent is really good at just soaking up that energy out of the Mawile. It may be super powered up, but, our Rock Tomb sort of nerfed it a little bit back down. So Iron Head does a lot of damage, but a Surf does way more, KOing the Mawile. There is now a 0 shield Tentacruel. Shadow Ball is going to do a ton of damage, and at this point, we can just stay in here, and it looks like we are. But at this point, we can just let Jellicent go, bring in Galarian Weezing. Galarian Weezing will be able to just, 2 shield farm down this Tentacruel, have a ton of energy onto whatever's in the back. But I think we can actually 1 shield. Just use 1 shield, Fairy Wind down. They go for the Acid Spray, which, fair enough. If you're trying to find any win con, you can. It's Ludicolo in the back. I mean, there's some weird Pokemon going around in these early days. People are really experimenting a lot with trying to figure out what can break these teams, but pretty much no Pokemon in the back was going to be able to hurt us there. So next game, we've got Shadow Palkia coming in. Talk about Inadequence's graphic. Inadequence's Pokemon is coming in here to try and take us down. A bit of an interesting take on the Spring Cup in that Dragon Breath is relatively, there's a lot of Pokemon that do resist it, to be fair. But obviously there's a lot of Pokemon that don't. But again, same strategy. Straight Rock Tomb. See what we can do. Not going to be, actually, I think I accidentally shielded here. I think I was looking at chat. Sometimes that happens. If I ever use a shield on Cradily, it's usually because I goofed. But we've actually gone to the 2 shield scenario here, which is a bit different, but hey, we'll see how it goes. And so we're going to let the Palkia take us down. Bring in our Jellicent because we know we can soak up all of the energy off of that Palkia. They actually do decide to throw here. They throw the Aqua Tail. They feel like, you probably should have kept that, kept it banked. But anyway, they swap into their own Jellicent to a Jellicent with a lot of energy. And we catch the move onto Galarian Weezing. I don't know if this is the right play or not, but it is a Shadow Ball. But I just figured we really wanted to have all of that. We wanted a charge attack on our own Jellicent. We wanted to get an energy advantage on this Galarian Weezing. And it turns out they have a Ferrothorn in the back, and so we make sure that we don't throw, at the end of their moves, they can swap, get the big overheat onto Ferrothorn. It's the Palkia in the back. 1 Fairy Wind is enough to get the KO, and we now see another Feraligatr lead. So we'll see if this one works any different. Again, I know that Grass Knot would be doing super effective damage here, but hey, I'm going straight for those Rock Tombs. I am staying true to the strategy. See how it goes. We do get a shield as well because, again, Feraligatr is going to be scared of getting, just absolutely KO'd by Cradily straight away. So they use a shield. They know that they outpace as well. And so I actually decide to go for a shield there. I don't know if it's the right play, but we go for the Rock Tomb, Bullet Seed all the way down. So we actually one switch, so we actually have played this a little bit differently. We'll see if this pays off for us, or if it sort of goes down in flames. But a Venusaur comes in. We actually take it down to half health. We get to another Rock Tomb as well. Okay, somehow, I've accidentally decided that Cradily was the GOAT of this game, and it is actually paying off. We've taken out a Pokemon and a half and have a shield advantage, but this Venusaur has so much energy, so I swap into Galarian Weezing, try to catch a Sludge Bomb into the Jellicent, succeed at catching the Sludge Bomb, and I'm like, okay, we can, I think if we shield up here, we'll get to a move. Turns out they had Petal Blizzard, so I was like, oh. I mean, it still would have done a lot of damage, but yeah, not too stressed about that. So we get a Shadow Ball, take out Jellicent, in comes back in Petal Blizzard Venusaur. No need, they actually just top left. So I guess no Elite TMs on their end. We've got a Lurantis coming in now. I think we actually saw 2 Lurantises in all of these battles, which again, it's a really interesting Pokemon because you have ability to fight against both the steels because you have access to superpower, and you also do have that ability to take down the grasses as well, the waters, sorry, with Leaf Blade. Actually, I think you can potentially run Bug move as well. I don't know. I'm not a Lurantis expert, I suppose, but either way, we do see, Cradily versus Lurantis getting down to the tail end. I decided that, like, I didn't necessarily have a Pokemon I wanted to bring into this matchup, and so we do luckily get 1 Rock Tomb, bonus, and so now we're at a 1 shield to 2 shield, bring in the Weezing. We're just going to Fairy Wind all the way down, which, because they were Razor Leaf, puts us in a pretty good position. They do have a Jellicent, though, so we need to swap, but that is where we're sort of like, oh, okay, this isn't a good position to be in. Maybe our shield comes in handy, but this is rough, because now, Abomasnow, we still have this 1 shield remaining, but we need to take care of that Jellicent in the back, and our Galarian Weezing isn't going to do that great. So I decided to use my shield on the Abomasnow, keep my Jellicent alive, throw the Surf to take out the Abomasnow, and now I need to get to this Shadow Ball on the other opposing Jellicent, and because we were able to get that energy advantage, we're able to land it, bring in the Galarian Weezing, and a bit of a BM. We throw the Overheat to take out the Jellicent. That is GG's there, because we had so much energy sitting in the back. Ferrothorn, another pretty bad lead for us. I think I won most of the games that we were up against Ferrothorns. But we'll see how this one goes. Go for the Rock Tomb to just weaken down that attack stat again. We're sticking to it. I know that a few of these games I've decided to burn shields, even though it isn't actually the strat, but sometimes you do have to, you just feel it. Sometimes, you can play around with the team, you can swap things over, you can see what you like more. Maybe you start finding that you don't actually need Surf on Jellicent. I know some people in chat were sort of theory crafting around Ice Beam Shadow Ball Jellicent with so many grass types in the meta. Maybe that could be handy for you. I'm not too sure, but as predicted, we sort of lose switch. They hard swap into Tentacruel. I'm not sure what they were expecting, but we catch the move into the Jellicent because Jellicent can resist all of Tentacruel's moves. They are switch locked here for a little while, so we can sort of comfortably, I think I actually go straight for the Shadow Ball. We could have farmed up, we could have been a bit more greedy because they were switch locked here, but we take the resisted Scald. Actually, I burned a shield. I don't know why I burned a shield, to be honest with you. I guess we are getting to the point where, like, we would have to burn a shield either on that previous one or on this next one. So, fair enough that we burnt it before. We can tank another Scald, hex them all the way down. We have a lot of energy here, and so they bring in the Ferrothorn. We decided to just throw Surf to try and get something going. And so, I don't know, probably not the greatest of plays, but we go for the combo play, I suppose, with Surf and then Sludge, which is enough to take it out, but it's Mawile in the back. Mawile, one of our sort of harder counters, and to sort of come out in the back makes it pretty tough because we can throw these 2 Sludges, we can get 2 shields, but then we still need to do some damage. We don't even get the shield on that one. So that was a tough Mawile hiding in the back. And so I think we have maybe 1 or 2 more battles left to go. And do subscribe, by the way, if this is content that you do appreciate. I'm sure I'll be planning on making a lot more sort of videos in the future. And so yeah, let me know and like, comment, subscribe, all those things as well. Probably should have mentioned that earlier in the video, but oh well, here we are. And again, we've got that strategy. Well, we actually had a good lead, and so they swapped into the Galarian Weezing. And Galarian Weezing, I didn't have like a hard counter per se, and you sort of have to scope out whether it might be a Brutal Swing or something like that. We did see, I think, a Brutal Swing Galarian Weezing was in that first battle I played in the video, so we decided to sort of stay in and get the win. I sort of make a mistake here, I think. I throw the Rock Tomb in Lurantis. I feel like there's a legitimate, I probably should have held onto a Grass Knot for the Whiscash, and I think there I sort of was like, oh, I should have had a Grass Knot, and so then I tried to farm up, just gave them a lot of farm, and so now we have the Jellicent into the Whiscash, so we're not in a bad spot because now we sort of have a Galarian Weezing into a Grass type in the back. Not a terrible spot to be, especially when this Jellicent doesn't care too much about Whiscash's damage. So we get the shield off of the Surf and now go for the Shadow Ball. We still have a shield in tow as well, bring it right down to the red. At this point, we're sort of happy to let Jellicent go because Galarian Weezing is going to be in a pretty good position. Weezing comes in, their Lurantis comes in, and we're sort of like, okay, what moves could this possibly have? Nothing that really hurts Galarian Weezing, and so I just let them come through. First one comes through, second one comes through. We were just saving our charge attack saving our shield for the Mud Bomb, and it turns out they saw the writing on the wall that 2 Sludges was going to be it, and so they top lefted. And last game of the video, we have a Cradily into a Tropius, which is a bit of a wild one, and so I think I'll just let this one play out again. We're going to go for the pretty similar strategy, but let me know if this is a strategy that you try out in your own battles and let me know how it works. I know that like some people have success with it, some people don't, and I think in some sense, obviously different elos are going to have different, different metas, and the meta is obviously going to evolve as time goes on. I know for the Scroll Cup, I posted that video of the Morpeko team that was absolutely crushing. Like, it was dominating for me for the first 2 days, and then a lot of Charmers really started to come up to sort of counter the Morpeko meta. And so, if you're watching this video in a week and a half, it might not work as well. There's probably going to be a lot more Pokemon running around that counter it, but at the same time, maybe the meta has sort of double evolved, right? Like, it's sort of passed through the point where the counters have come, now the counters are gone, and maybe this team is good again. But I think this team is also one that will work really, really well for you in the lower elo ranges. If you are someone that is sort of, trying to get up to ace, or trying to sort of, just fight into those early 2000s, trying to maybe get up to veteran for the first time or something like that. Because I think that this team is very, very strong into a variety of picks that you might come across. But, this is the, Spring Cup battles. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to all of my patrons and YouTube members down in the description as well. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video, whatever it may be. But until then, good luck in your Spring Cup battles, and let me know if you try this team and how it goes. Catch ya. Any reason why you've decided to run Rock Slide over Rock Tomb for Cradily? Is this bait? Do I not have Rock Tomb? To answer your question, no reason. Well, yes, there's a reason. The reason is that I'm a little bit of a silly Billy. Oh.